Well, good evening, people. The handsomes are back. Better looking than right said Fred, but a little bit less talent than Rick Astley. It is the American Scouser TV Thursday Night Podcast. Yeah, that's a debatable one. The American Scouser Thursday Night Podcast. That's with Tinapa to the cool kids. We are back. Susia shaved his head, it looks like, so we're back to being like all nice and handsome again. I don't know what that wig you were wearing was last week, but it's thankfully gone. How are we, gentlemen? We're back to real football again, thankfully.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah. Sort of. Right into the swing of things.
We're all over the moon by it.
We're look at the excitement. My excitement on my face is that I have an actual light day tomorrow, and it's not going to be strenuous. So I don't even know when we're playing, which is bad for this show because it's one of the topics we're going to talk about tonight. We will discuss Mo Salah coming back and the implications of that. Richard Hughes and all that gang, and why the hell we are now into the middle of January and have not reinforced any area that we should reinforce. We talk about the little pathways we could have taken on that. Johnny Hittinga going to Spurs. We'll talk a little bit about that, just for a different slant on the coaching thing, because we've done that one to death. But not something I thought I would open up a BBC football sport page this morning at 5 a.m. and go, oh, Johnny Hittinga's at Spurs. That's an interesting one. And then we'll mostly look ahead to the game this weekend. Liverpool Football Club versus England's Brave, Scotty Parker's Brave, English Burnley FC. Is there a feeling about maybe an upset, or will Burnley win as we expect them to? And other such laughter and nonsense. But let us start with this one here. Mo Salah, spoiled again by Sadio Mane. He must hate that guy at this point. He must hate. Sounds like again, like changing religions to voodoo or something so he can get rid of him. I don't know whether he's going to get any sort of break. I'd imagine they're probably going to give him a week off or something like that. But he is returning to the fold. I wouldn't give him a break. He didn't do enough in the AFCON as far as I could see. Gentlemen, what are our opinions on the imminent return of our wayward son?
I am excited.
Well, he's got to play the third place game, right?
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
The swine. Yeah. How dare you? He should just come home now.
On Saturday, funny enough, the same time Liverpool play Burnley, he's playing a third place versus fourth place game in the African Cup of Nations in Morocco. So there we are. Whatever that means.
Having said that, let's just, before we discriminate against third and fourth place games, some of the World Cup third and fourth place games have been way better than some of the finals.
Okay.
But that's the World Cup. That's a whole different ball game.
You came third in the third place game in the last World Cup, Mark. You couldn't.
I don't even know who was in the final in the last World Cup. That's how I'm doing.
You know what I mean? I just think
that doesn't deny my point that they're often more exciting than the final, though.
No one's asked. No one cares. If there's ever a more pointless game of footy than a third and fourth place game, it's that.
It is that, yeah.
But no, listen, Mo was, I'm gutted for him because it's probably his last chance to win it, because it's going to every 4 years, I believe. This is the last time it's every 2 years. It's every 4 years from now. It's line up the FIFA calendar. So that's pretty sad for him. But Liverpool desperately need him. Really badly need him. Forget this whole palaver, what happened before he left. He came on the pitch in his last game. I think it was Brighton. I think he set a goal up. He should have scored as well. He would look great. I mean, it's exciting to get him back. And I suppose Tricky Dickie's probably trying to convince himself it's like a new signing. So we'll just go along with that.
He's writing the press release as we speak.
Indeed.
The press. Now, Susie, I've said time and again, I'm not going to talk about the Arnie Slot side of this equation. But that Arnie Slot reminds me a lot of Brendan Rodgers in that if you give him forwards who can make their own goals, you're going to get a good team. But as soon as that's not there, there's no patterns of play that you can see where the goals get created from. Mo Salah is one player that we definitely, we're kind of now starting to see with Ekitike, thankfully. But beforehand, we hadn't seen a lot. but we know Mo Salah can get the ball and do things and make chances happen out of almost nothing. Because he's right, that seems like almost the boost this team needs right now in this current run. What do you think?
Yeah, by all accounts, we're not signing any forwards. Semenyo's gone. The one player I thought that we were going to get. He's already scored a goal on his debut for City.
Scored twice now, hasn't he, in 2 games?
Has he? Yeah.
I think he's on 3 and 2. He gets 2 against Newcastle.
Okay, yeah. Does he get 2?
And he gets 1 against Exeter.
You mean he didn't need an adjustment period?
No, he didn't need to know the new system in that. No, he just signed him on the Thursday after he played for Bournemouth and he froze him straight in Saturday. But anyway.
No, I'm Salah. I mean, right. So Slots, he's topped the rot, which is what we were crying out for prior to Christmas. Now we just got to start winning games, and we've literally got the best player in the Premier League over the last few years. It's going to go down as one of the greatest players in the Premier League in that position for sure. And we're better with him in the team than without him in the team. And I think with him, as much as I hate to say it, he's missed Trent's creativity and his passing, and unfortunately we have a right back, or we don't really have a right back, but his replacement can barely put more than 2-3 games together, and now he's out for the season. And
it's key to parks the cars. I think that's our new right back. It's key to parks the cars at Anfield.
Yeah, and it's just
that's what we're down to.
But I mean, it's only good for us. Salah's not in the final, even though it's wasting his time on Saturday. And really, I don't know if Egypt have made it through to the World Cup. I don't know if there's another World Cup round set of games that he's got to go to. But yeah, we need him back desperately.
He won't be at Liverpool anyway, so don't worry about it.
I think it would still be here by the end of January. I think he'll still be here.
You think? You think he'll be here next season?
No. I mean, like this transfer window.
Oh yes, I'm sorry, but you're saying the World Cup games. Who cares? On our watch, we'll probably sell.
No. But what I'm saying is that I don't know
the qualifier
before. Yeah,
the qualifiers. Yeah, I know what you mean. Gotcha. I'm not sure. Can't remember.
Yeah,
there's so many fucking teams. I may as well assume that there's about fucking 150 teams coming over. There's only like 12 sets of fans who are allowed in.
Well, who knows?
There's probably a World Cup qualifier at half-time in Liverpool against Burnley.
Well, half the teams probably won't get through immigration anyway. So we're only going to be stuck in England and USA.
Yeah. But no, listen, if you actually look at this overall, gents, and like joking aside, if you go and ask any left-back, would you rather play against Dominic Szoboszlai on the right wing or Mo Salah? I think we all know the answer. So Salah can embarrass it quickly. And Liverpool have missed him drastically. And with the injuries to Ekitike, taking it easy, supposedly Wirtz is carrying a hamstring injury. Bradley's now out. So Frimpong's going to be playing right back. And I actually think, gents, Frimpong's going to help him out loads more than Bradley because of his pace. So I actually think when he comes back, I don't know how many games he's played with Frimpong right back. It's not many.
There's at least one, but that's like it almost.
I think Community Shield. Yeah. I think Community Shield, and I think Frimpong scores. So there's not many, but I just think his pace will help him out a lot more in terms of when Mo gets the ball and he looks and he's already gone. It's like, well, that's bailing me out a bit. I don't need to kind of create something all about myself. Do you know what I mean? So hopefully we can find a nice relationship going there.
Yeah, Brian. You can make your point, but the question I want to ask you is that even though we could say that Salah's powers are slightly waning, if you go back to like Alan Shearer when he was getting to the wrong side of 32 at that point, he was still a danger, and that's like the element that you get with Mo Salah, isn't it? Yet psychologically, other defenders are going, well, you may not be as fast as he was, but he only needs 5 yards on me today. And that plays with the head a little bit more than as Cozzy says, well, it's Szoboszlai, he's just going to pass it back. I'm fine.
Well, I mean, Teddy Sheringham was sorry. Oh, just great. Teddy Sheringham was the best advice.
But if you look at all those players, we'll get to you now. But if you look at all those old players, the Shearer argument's great because really he has Craig Bellamy, he has James Milner, he has lads who are running around, he has lads who are going to help him out. Do you know what I mean? So as much, but the problem is, I think a lot with Mo this season, our lads are struggling. So they're like, we can't help you out. I've been trying to get my own shit together. Do you know what I mean? So I think there's a part of that as well. Go ahead, Brad.
But you have to. My point right there was I was going to talk about with Mo. You have to take the responsibilities off of Mo and give Mo what core things that he can do. Mm-hmm. So in this formation right there, where we were playing with the 4-2-3-1 right there, which basically makes Mo come out there and track back and somewhat try to play defend and go toward the half line and stuff like that. You got to take that part from him right there. It's not part of his game, and that's one thing I've been saying for months now right there. If you have So first with the Frimpong thing, which the point you're making, Kazi, right there, is if you put Mo more inside and go there and have Frimpong play outside, I think you come there and get the best of both worlds on that. And I think that's something that needs to be that I would go there and would push forward and say, hey, this is a way to go there to tactically set up. But I definitely think that Mo, even Mo at his age, his fitness level is still pretty intense. I mean, I think that's the one thing you have for him. Also, again, you have to come there and you have to use players to what's their best advantage. It's like any kind of work environment that you have or something as a manager right there. You put your players and your best players in positions that you know that they're going to fulfill the best and achieve your goals and attain the best for the entire squad. Mo's not a defender. Mo's not a midfielder. Don't make him into a right attacking midfielder. He's not. He's a right winger, or he's somewhere up on that top. If you're going to go to that point right there, put him on the right side up front. Make it a 4-4-2 and get the best out of him that way. Either way, the thing is, his best is in the final third of the pitch. It's not in the middle of the pitch. It's not in the back third of the pitch. It's the final third. And that's how you need to utilize him. And I mean, I hope that is a thought process, but we'll see.
If I remember correctly, Egypt played with like a 3-4-1-2, didn't they? Where he was up front with Marmouche.
Yeah, he goes up front with Marmouche. Yeah,
yeah. Look, so it's not like if we stick with that diamond midfield, it works out really well for Mo Salah because he doesn't have to defend anymore. You know, so hopefully we'll figure it out.
Egypt don't have a lot of the ball. Like you know what I mean? They are very defensive. They didn't really want to win the game against Senegal. I've seen the highlights. It looks like they were camped in their own half. It's slightly different, but I am agreeing with you all a little bit, but I just think you also don't want Mo being so hugging the touchline where he's going to impede Frimpong's run. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
But gents, this all comes back to the centre half. The centre half on that side's got to say to Frimpong, you can go, don't worry about me. And we know what the centre half's been up to this season. Do you know what I mean? As much as he's been not great, but he's been better the last few games. He has been better, and I've got to give him his credit. You still know he's got it in him. Do you know what I mean? So it's, again, that's where all the trust comes in. That's why it's fucking so important that we all trust each other. But I agree with you. You've got to get the best out of Mo Salah eventually. You've got to hit him. You've got to pass to him. Do you know what I mean? You've kind of got him. I'm not giving him. If there's anyone who's got any fucking credit in the bank at Liverpool Football Club, it's Mo Salah. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's only a few players right now in this team who've got a lot of credit in the bank, and Mo Salah's one of them. So I don't know, man. Listen, Liverpool he's going to come back to a tough Champions League game away at Marseille. Yeah. Whether he's on the bench or not, Liverpool needs to win the game. So you can Karabag a bit of a fucking free hit. The last thing you want is to keep getting games. This is why I'm sure we'll get to Barnsley. I'm so fucking annoyed with that Szoboszlai goal. It's because Liverpool are in games up until the 90th minute consistently. Why can't we have a free hit against Karabag? Well, the way you're trying to turn it into a bit of a free hit, I know you need to win the game, but still have a free hit. You can control everything. You go out and beat Marseille, take all the pressure off you. Do you know what I mean? And then play your game, play this patient game that you want to play and just win the game 2-0. And everyone has a lovely time. But I don't know, lads. That's why, again, Mo Salah, mate, as you just said, he's going to play on Saturday in Morocco. And he's probably fucking starting on Wednesday against Marseille. He's probably straight back in. Because who else are you starting?
But even your point right there, you're making about Frimpong is with your center half you have there. You also have the responsibility of a defensive midfielder that sits back and goes and supports right there, and that's something that we've had problems with the entire season also. So I mean, I can't completely go there and say that center half right there isn't completely vindicated for some of the things he did, but also the same thing, he was lacking a lot of support in that process also.
I'll give you that. There's also part of it, and this is why, again, we're going to get into Hideki in a minute. The four midfielders that we have, they're all 4 number 8s. McAllister plays number 8 for fucking behind Messi in that. We play him in a different role. Gravenberch, I wouldn't say he's a 6. That's just my opinion. I wouldn't say Szoboszlai's. Don't say Curtis Jones's. Liverpool don't have a centre midfielder. Like a proper out-and-out, old-school centre midfielder. Liverpool don't have one. And we can try and turn players into one, and that's fine. And Gavin Birch did a great job last season of doing it, of course. But overall, he isn't. And you can see this season, it's kind of fucking. He's probably thinking, "Fucking hell, I'm doing that." We call him doggies, and he's running the doggies, man. He's just fucking running up and down. He's probably like doing 14k a game, 14k a game here. I'm used to playing for fucking Ajax, where it's silky as fuck, having 75% of the ball, and we all look $1 million. But that's Liverpool.
So I mean, you kind of would hope that the Egyptian coach is like, I don't care about this game. I'll just play the lads that didn't get minutes in the actual game.
I can't believe he hasn't sent them all. I can't believe he hasn't sent them all. Like as a goodwill thing of going, you know what I mean? But listen, they want to win it. They want to come third or whatever, and that's important to Egypt.
They make their money. So Salah's the face of Egypt football, and they're making their money.
It might be Salah's last competitive game for Egypt. You might want to play in it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, you know what I mean? So there's also a respect element there. And if Liverpool can't beat Burnley at home, mate, with Salah or without Salah, then Liverpool have fucking bigger problems on their hands. So,
which we will get to later. But now because his name has been mentioned, and just like the Candyman, Satan or Ted Rogers, if you remember who he is, if you say his name 5 times, he appears. Tricky Dicky, our head honcho of transfers. He's too sexy for the transfer window.
Is he? Yeah.
Now here's the thing about it for me, and this is not an idea that I would necessarily entertain. I just thought it was an interesting thought that I had in my head, and the thought was, what has happened to half-season loans? Number one, stopgaps like we had with Anelka, but more importantly, Callum Wilson has been looked at Celtic. Celtic are talking to him to bring him up there, wages and all that being like the big kind of stumbling block, because it's obviously Scottish football and they don't pay as much as they do in the Premier League. But there's like a free agent there that if you're a club that's lacking in numbers, I know Newcastle almost certainly have the same centre half issues we're going to have with injuries and stuff like that. What's happened to the half season loan where you get a player in, if he works out, hey, We'll stick a bid in for you at the end of the season. If he doesn't, like Stephen Cocker at the time, you get to go, that didn't work out. Thanks very much for your time, and let's all move on. We have deficiencies, and that I think that's exactly a Moneyball type of move that people like Tricky Dicky and Michael Edwards should be looking at, because that's where you get value for not as much outlay and no commitment. So have we got the wrong people for that kind of thinking?
Yeah, they don't think like that. This club hasn't thought like that since Ben Davis and Ozan Kabak, and the only reason why we got them in is because Jurgen Klopp came out and just slated them in the media. And like when I desperately need the centre half for ages, it gets to like the end of January, Matip gets done at Spurs, and then they just bring them to him because he just loses his rag. Liverpool aren't going to do a stopgap, Mac, but that's not the argument here for Liverpool. This is not the conversation. There's 2 ways I'm looking at this now. First of all, I think it's extremely naive. I actually think it's bordering on negligence if you don't sign a footy player in this January transfer window. There's no such thing as a stopgap in Mark A. You wanted Mark A. It's not a stopgap.
I didn't want to like go straight into that, but that is a point, isn't it? Like we were like this close to signing him in the summer. He should have been done the second after the transfer window opened in January, right?
So that's one of them. The Mark A one's one. By the way, Liverpool, have just lost a right back for the season, and we've got a lad who can do right back and centre half for you. But now we're doing Joe. So now Joe Gomez is your second choice centre half. Sorry, your second choice right back and your third choice centre half. That is literally where we're at. Liverpool right now, in my opinion, have 5 defenders, and then, by the way, 2 of them are Robertson and Kirkes and can't play at the same time because they just can't do both left back. It's bordering on awful of what's happening in terms of not signing a player. Now, the only reason why I think I think this might not be happening, they might not be fancying this manager long term, and just think, I'm not going to throw a load of dough at you, and we could be fucking you off in 6 months. I keep saying this to people before people get all on the high horse about Arne Slot. He has 18 months left on his deal, and no one's speaking about a renewal, Andy. Do you have anything from any Liverpool are going to renew his contract? No. So there's a conversation that's going to be had in the summer. Let's be frank, it's in the summer or it's never. has to be in the summer so they can build for the next 2, 3, 4 seasons of who the manager is. And by the way, when you're speaking to a player wants to go, who's the manager going to be? Do you know what I mean? Who's the manager? Who am I playing under? That's what's making me think. Now, if Liverpool are trying to be the smartest man in the room, because as you know, they like to be told
that.
Well, you know, Michael Edwards likes to be told he's the smartest man in the room at any given moment. I think he walks into his house and says, "Honey, I'm home." She goes, "Here he is, the smartest man in the room now." Because he's such a genius. I can't believe how much genius he is.
Just to digress very slightly, if anybody ever watched Nevermind the Buzzcocks, Amy Winehouse one time, and it said, what's that, Westwood? Is that his name, the DJ?
Tim Westwood.
Apparently he called his wife 2 minutes before he got into the house, and she had to press a button, and all these like lights flashed when he burst in the door. And it was like, "Daddy, Sam, that's exactly what you're talking about."
Amazing, yeah. That's exactly what happened, yeah. Like the Mastermind theme tune just comes on, like University Challenge when he walks in the room. Because he's the smartest man in the world. There's no one smarter than Michael Edwards in football. Oh my God. But you know, so we're at that stage, gents, where I'm looking and think, you are now, if you don't want to do a signing, okay, then it must be on the manager then. Because I just can't see how both work. I just can't see how you can go no signings, but we love the manager. I just don't see how that marries up to me. Maybe I'm incorrect, I don't know. But and I keep saying this to people, and people really need to listen to this. The World Cup is on this summer, you know. There's 4 weeks after the World Cup finishes is the Premier League kicking off. So this argument of they're probably going to do 7 players in the summer, when? Because I'm going to assume a lot of these football players will be playing at the World Cup because you're going to want to sign boss players. So maybe, I don't know, squeeze 1 or 2 in January. Go. Who knows?
Just to complicate things, I believe I may have misread, but the Carabao Cup is starting a little bit early before the season next year.
We should be fine because hopefully we're going to be in Europe. Hopefully.
So it doesn't even start with the Premier League. So see, here's the thing that I'm puzzled by though with what Cosy says. The whole point of having Arne Slot as the head coach, and there's a great article on our American Scouser website by the brilliantly named Jack Champagne about how Arne Slot should be the manager rather than the head coach. But the whole idea of this head coach position was that he wasn't involved in transfers, so the transfer strategy could continue regardless of who was coaching the team. Doesn't seem to be the case, does it? It just seems to be we're in charge, and we're like, I mean, I get suspicious sometimes that maybe he's being told what players to play. That's how much power they want.
I wouldn't take it that far, but I think as much as Slot likes to say that he has some say with the players that we're buying, I don't think so. And I think we had this discussion last season about how much control managers should have in regards to transfers, and we've seen through Man United, Everton, teams like that, exactly why managers shouldn't have control over buying players, because now you're just buying deadwood players for your next manager, and now you've got to, you have these huge wages that you can't get off your club because the next manager doesn't want them. I don't. Things like when it comes to transfers and I think what we've seen with the players that we've bought just reminds me of what Kazi said last year, and these are the best players that Slot's ever coached or managed. Even with the team that we had last year, and you consider we had Diaz and Nunes and everything, and it's still the best players that he ever had. Now we've just put him on steroids. We've got Wirtz, we've got Isak, we've got Ekatiga, and so Salah was and Verge, they were like golden nuggets for him. And now I don't think he knows how to manage, not upwards, I can't think of the word to say, but manage players of that stature. I don't think he has it in him.
Manage talent, like the way Carlo Ancelotti.
I don't know about talent, but I think, for want of a better word, the ego that comes with an elite player. And I don't think he knows how to manage players like that. It's easier to manage someone like Darwin Núñez, where you're just talking at him or talking to him.
or talking at the wall behind him.
But someone like Salah and Virgil, you want them on your side. whether you like it or not, they're really they're your peers to a certain extent. Because without them, we've got nothing. You can't. There's a way you talk to these players, and I don't think he has a man management skill to talk to these players. So now you've brought in players like Isaac, who, you know, by all means, everything that he pulled at Newcastle with going on strike and everything, that's the type of player you're dealing with. Now you've got Wirtz, probably the best player in, you know, best German player, one of the best players in the world. You know, everyone would have gone for him, despite how he's performed this season. Any club in the world would have gone for him. And now you're dealing with this type of ego, and I don't think he has the characteristic or the belief in himself to deal with that kind of player.
Brian, just because I don't want to keep going back to Arne Slot, because it means that Michael Edwards and Richard Hughes are getting away with it. But is there? We talked about the influx of like the specialist coaches, etc. But for that transfer thing, I mean, if everything has been done by computers, do you need 27 million people doing it? And I want to say that because I always want to say the solution to all the transfer problems, as I know Cosy will agree, is just hire Jorgen Schmadtke. He'll get everything for you from the beach. Who needs a data set? But do you think there's too many cooks spoiling the broth when it comes now to the whole thing?
Absolutely. I think you have to actually look at your squad and see what you're deficient in. We have 3 senior center halves right now. That's it. 3. You have a player right there, and I'm gonna throw a player out there right now who's on a free that's got released right there. Why don't you go sign Kurt Zuma? Put him in there as your fourth person just to cover. 6-month loan. Let him just come in here, say, hey, guess what? You're on a free. Come here for 6 months right there. I'll give you a job right there just to cover right there. You can go play against Carbog. You can play the FA Cup or whatever, things like that, and just to give our players a relief. Right now, there's no relief for these players at the moment right now. So you're basically stuck right there with Kanate and Burge or Gomez, and I don't even count Gomez because he's about one match from being back on the injury in the injury department again. So I don't know how to judge this right there. I just don't know what these guys are looking at. And again, if we're looking at computer models, what computer models are you looking at? I mean, looking at a Commodore 64? I mean, are you looking at?
It has to be an Amiga. It has to be an Amiga.
I mean, are we looking back at the teletype? I mean, what are we looking at right there? This is all reality right there. To see when you look at your squad and see what you're deficient in right there. I mean, you have a half a season just you have to get through. How do you get through when you have with a Band-Aid squad? And that's my biggest problems I have right now is that we're putting Band-Aids on. You have a right back who's gone right there. So now you only have one right back, and you have the Ghost as the other one, Ramsey, but you don't know I don't even know if he really plays. I mean, I see his name on the bench, but I don't think I've ever seen him fully play in one match in a long time. So you have these things right there. You have these players right there. So you have to come out there and prepare for the worst to get the best. And so we're in a problem right now.
There's also part of this, though, what Brian just said about Ramsey. Ramsey's a great argument here. First of all, I felt sorry for Ramsey because he should have got on against Barnsley, but the Sabozlai holes killed him. It's just literally killed him because he couldn't get on.
Yep.
But number 2, we're talking about Calvin Ramsey as an option to play right back for Liverpool potentially in a fucking Champions League game. Is this a serious chat? Is this happening around the table at Liverpool? Like, it's not even a conversation to have. It's not an option. It's not possible. But by the way, you're making it possible because Joe Gomez will get injured. I can guarantee Joe Gomez is getting injured, and then you are relying on Frimpong to play 25 games on the bounce every 3 days.
And he's going to go.
By the way, Liverpool have got 18, 19 league games left or whatever it is. I think it's like 18 league games. Hopefully we go deep in the Champions League and then go deep in the FA Cup. So where is Calvin Ramsey playing footy? Like, I don't, it's not an option. It's just not. I keep saying it, Chiesa is not an option. Nope. He doesn't start in a footy match. He's not an option, a major footy match. Rio is not an option, lads. He just isn't because he doesn't start him. So the squad's even smaller. It gets smaller and smaller. This is what you're dealing with. And then again, what comes down to it, it's sheer fucking it's verging on neglect what they're doing. And I feel sorry for the manager. I'm sure the managers are sitting there in those meetings going, you know what, I don't really fancy anyone. Nah, I don't really want a new player. I'll just keep playing Chiesa. So what players in? Like, we're falling apart. Do you know what I mean? But Mackie's not going to do this. This is the big conversation. They're not going to do those stop type signings that you've mentioned. They'll never do it, whether we like it or not. What I still like out of Liverpool, they would take chances more on players a bit further down the league, and take a chance on them, like a Gino Ronaldo, like your Andy Robertson, like your Shaqiri. Those type of players who got relegated over in and around the bottom half, take a chance. We don't do that anymore.
Andy Robertson.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, we just don't do those type of signings anymore. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I love the Shaqiri sign. It's one of my favourite Liverpool signings. Not because of what he did, because you took a chance on that for 12 million quid, man. You know what? He can come in and do bits. Yeah. And sometimes I like when Liverpool just do those type of signings and go, just come in and do bits for 2-3 years. Make yourself a bit of a cult hero. You scored 2 against United, you scored against Everton. Sound. And you win the European Cup, I think. So everything's sound. We don't do that anymore. We're not looking. Are we looking down the table now going, should we go and chance their arm on Andre at Wolves? They're fucking finished anyway. Should we go and chance their arm on Max Kilman at West Ham for a centre half? Do Liverpool do that? Fuck no.
Nope.
Like, and I just wanted to, like, Macka, so it's not just about, like, they go, finding value and all this if he's not on the list. Football is an ever-moving cycle. It's not just this is what happens in the summer and we've got to stick to the plan. No, the cycle changes completely based on injuries and form. And we're just not adapting. We just let it all pass us by. And before people say, by the way, you can't find value in the market, that is the biggest load of horseshit I've ever heard in footy. Liverpool have signed loads of boss players in January. Yeah. Loads of boss players.
Coutinho, Sturridge.
Is that what City are thinking right now? I know City had a bit of a bad January last year, but by the way, do you know that January that City had last year when they signed 200 million on Kusanov and Nico Gonzalez and Marmoush? They were sitting like 6th in the league. They finished 3rd. Do you know why not? Because they felt like the Champions League was on the line. And got you in the Champions League. It's worth more than us. Than that. Just sign a few players in to get the bodies in. They finish in the Champions League. Can't Liverpool go out? City go and sign Semenyo for 60 million. Looks like a snip. It looks like a snip. So don't tell me there's no value out there, Liverpool. Don't tell me that. So, and again, all I'm asking for, lads, right? I'm not asking for stopgaps because I disagree with it. I'm asking you to move targets forward. If you want them in the summer, you want them now. By the way, the market argument's brilliant. You put yourselves in this position. So they called you bluff. Now you need them more. I'm sorry, but you have to pay more money. It's like what you did with Van Dijk. You got caught with your hand in the cookie jar. You've got to go and pay more money for it. You've got to go back to Marquette and go, you're not the FA Cup, you're out the League Cup, fella. Middle of the road. You might get knocked out the Conference League. You might be in the playoffs of the Conference League. Do you want to just do it now? Your manager might be gone in 6 months to United.
Exactly.
No, you don't want to pay the money. No. You don't want to pay the money. Let's be frank. You don't want to pay the 35, 40 million because you know you can get him on a free for 6 months. But I'll tell you right now, mate. But if I'm Marquette's agent and I'm Marquette, or I'm selling my agent, can you go and speak to Bayern Munich for me now? Because he's allowed to. He's supposed to speak to Real Madrid and Barcelona and sign them out for me. So when Liverpool come back in the summer, we can all sit there and go, actually, mate, I've been speaking to Bayern Munich for 6 months. They're desperate for me. But we'll see.
Now, here's the question to expand that idea, because we had a conversation a long time ago, kind of about Jorgen Schmatke, about the idea that, you know, Liverpool football is not difficult in terms of transfers. Really, conceptually, it's just what do we need? Is what Richard Hughes and what Michael Edwards and their whole setup and their whole philosophy, what they're doing, is that now going to be a detriment to every other subsequent manager we have as long as they're there? No matter, we all say we'd love Arne Slot to be winning trophies for years to come, but let's assume there's going to be at least one other manager under this transfer committee. Is this going to be an ongoing problem? Or are we going to be faced with managers who look like they could do something, who are being hamstrung by a very reluctant transfer policy? Absolutely.
Because I think the problem is right there. You have these guys looking at up value, and I mean, and that's what you're in the conversation we had back last summer, right there, when we were dealing with this whole not signing anybody. Right there was they're looking at the value of the player and how they can move that player on and what that player could do for them instead of actually looking for they're looking for the money side of the picture. And I think that's what you have a lot of these guys that do now. And like, for instance, like their Verts. Okay, so you sign Verts for the amount of money you have. What's his up value? He's 22 years old. you have a potential right there, probably of having one of the world's highest paid players right there in your hand. It's a gamble that they make. It's a stat that goes back to stats. You look at stats and you look at growth and you look at what the value is going to be on that growth. Frimpong, another person right there. You can get Frimpong in as a young right now, get him in, have him here for 3 seasons, and then next thing you know, right there, you probably turn around and sell Frimpong for $80 million. You profit right there off of that.
I don't think it's like that, Brian, man. I've got to disagree there because if they signed Isak, he's 27, 100 odd million. There's no fucking selling value for Isak.
There's no sell value.
So there's no number value in that sense in terms of value. I just think there's a part though, gents, where they're very stringent to a plan. But there's also a part of this, again, that plan could have changed, lads. That's why it comes back to my point I made before. They know what they're doing. I'm not arguing that they're fucking thick. No one's saying that. They just have a different idea. So the idea is, are they going to go, we're going to go and sign 2 or 3 players and sack the manager in 6 months? Do you know what I mean? Like that could happen. But the other part of this conversation is, gents, and again, and I will fucking die on it, Harvey Elliott must have literally fucking stabbed Arne Slot's wife for him to not be back at Liverpool Football Club. Because, my God, if you can't go and make that deal with Villa, all go and leave your job, lads. Just fucking leave today. Just hand your P45s because he is an unbelievable option right now. He's a Liverpool football player. You're ruining his value every single day that passes in January of you not bringing him back, and you're going to sell him for 5 million in the summer, 10 million. I
think that's where Slot. I think Slot's probably said, "I'm not going to play him."
I know,
and I think that's where it comes down to not getting Harvey back.
Well,
I think there's certain players like Chiesa, Kwanzaa, Elliott, where Slot's like, all right, he might not have a big say in who comes in, but I think he has a big say in who goes out.
Who plays?
Other than Diaz, I think he really wanted Diaz, and I think he got shafted over with that one, and not getting a Diaz replacement. But
sorry for him, then. I do feel sorry for him.
Yeah, I mean, as much grief as we've given him, yeah, his hands have been tied with certain things. I don't think Isak happens if Jota didn't happen. No. I think that Jota really changed a lot of things. And,
I don't know. We don't know which one they wanted first. Do you know what I mean? Do you think they want? I think they wanted both.
I think they wanted both, but I think they would have waited a year on Isak, wait for his value to drop instead of like spending 120 million on him. Ekitike was no risk. I mean, we sold Darwin for 70 odd million.
Yes.
So we pretty much made our money back with that. But yeah, I think Isak, we would have waited a season, wait for his value to drop, and got him a lot cheaper.
I'd say right now, gents, if we're having this conversation in 2 weeks and Chiesa's playing for Juventus and there's no Harvey Elliott and there's no Shannon, genuinely though, I would lose my fucking mind here. Because if that could happen, Juventus are all over him, fancy him, want to get him back. And it's
a World Cup season. I wouldn't even blame him for going.
It's verging on negligent though. It's verging on like a disgrace of your job if you can't go and get Harvey Elliott in and you say to the manager, that's your only option. And that's fine. And I keep saying this all the time. Sometimes football isn't perfect and you can't always get the perfect players. But if Harvey Elliott's there and James McConnell's there and all this kind of stuff, you just got to fucking play them in certain games.
Yep.
You just got to say, that's your option. And I'm sorry, but that's your option for now. We'll take care of you in the summer. Like we took care of you in this summer when you spent 450 million quid on players. Do you know what I mean? But by the way, you knew you were going to be short of centre-half. If we didn't sign Gay, you knew this. You can say that to the manager. You went into the season and we said to you, it's Bradley and Frimpong, and you went sound. Okay, well, you know what Bradley's injury record like. You know what Joe Gomez is. There's no surprise, is it? So, the only surprise for me this season, not really in terms of the signings, because the signings are here or there for me. Going back to the main point, I think this is why this is happening. The style of footy is fucking dreadful. And, well, it just is. It's just appalling footy. The argument is that if you're trying to attack these new players and you're going to go, hey, we want to go and sign Rodrigo. And I'm talking like an elite level footy player, like a Rodrigo and those type of players. You're not going to want to come in and watch this turgid shite.
Where would he play?
Rodrigo played left wing for Liverpool, right wing.
I mean, freaking 4-2-3-1. There's no room for him, so it goes back to my hatred for that damn formation.
But if Mo Salah's going to leave in the summer, is the argument, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? So there's definitely winger positions at Liverpool where Rodrigo will play. But I'm just saying that type of name anyway, like an elite name. They're going to come in and go, okay, mate. So you're going to give Arne Slot a new contract? We're not sure yet. Well, I'm not fucking sure if I'm going to sign for you. I want to know who's playing. I want to know who the manager is. And that's why Jurgen Klopp told them in October, I'm leaving in the summer so you can plan your window. Because I'm not going to be here when you're speaking to players. And this is what happens. So
and let's be honest here. If you told them in October, then they only ended up with Chiesa. Didn't they? Yeah, that was the subtitle of the plan.
I do agree with what happened there, but I know what you're saying. I just think sometimes, gents, right, if your footy players are smart these days, Swansea footy players will sit there with agents and go, "What's the plan the next 5 years, 3 years, 4 years? Who's the manager in 18 months?" And they go, "Well, I don't know. Well, I like Alonso." Yeah, do you? Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like these are the conversations. The players that Liverpool shop for, they have lots of options, lads. Because the boss players, Wirtz has loads of options. He's acted, hated. You all have loads of options. Do you know what I mean? But you need to lay out. Sometimes you need to lay out. Supposedly they laid out a big fucking 3-year plan for Wirtz and told them, what time we could go for the shit, basically. And it's like, I don't know, man. That's why I just feel, gents. This has been my thought for the last week or two. He just might not fancy the manager. Then think we're not signing 2 or 3 players if we're going to fuck it off in 6 months.
Let me ask one last question before we take a slight detour before talking about the weekend's game. What is John Henry's role in all of this? What's his view, do we think?
Zero? Nada? He's the check
I don't think he has I don't think he has a say. Well, it's not that he doesn't have a say. I don't think he cares. I think he's paying Mark Edwards 10 million a year to care. And Richard Hughes, he's just sitting back and reaping the awards.
He's a venture capitalist. He doesn't care.
So
he's looking at spreadsheets. He's looking at spreadsheets.
Making money for FSG.
How much did Liverpool turn over? What was the profit? So
that's it.
By the way, that's not a negative. That's just his role. He's a check signer. I reckon if he gets a phone call of Michael Evans, it goes, "I need 60 million for the check." Oh, yeah, all right, mate. Yeah. Yes, no idea. Do you think he has any idea who fucking like?
LeBron made.
I mean, you'd rather have him than Bowley.
Yeah,
made so much money just off of our back. They don't care about we Liverpool are,
but not in a negative way. Though I would say,
no, definitely not. They're definitely their part. But it's actually Richard Hughes and Edwards, and they're the ones that.
This is why it's always that easy, right? It's about the Champions League argument in terms of we need to qualify to the Champions League. Do you know the easiest way to qualify for the Champions League? Win the league. Yep, that's easy. Don't need to worry about it then. It's already done. So just do that. It's just, I don't know.
Let me ask this one last thing then, because when FSG came in, they came in a little bit as saviors almost. We were a nice project for them. We talked about what they did in baseball and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Would this, what we're talking about here now with John Henry, would it be essentially now that it's definitely confirmed almost that we've stopped being the project and now we're just the investment, like all his other investments and all his other clubs and stuff.
But you hired, if you want to go with the baseball analogy right there.
I mean from his point of view, like, you step him back all the way. Like
you hired Edwards
but remember, they used to be at Anfield a lot. Like we used to have those nice close-ups of Linda and everything.
Yeah.
But you hired Edwards as your GM.
Basically what I'm asking is, when is Linda coming back to Anfield? No, only kidding.
Yes,
but you hired Edwards to be the director of overall football operations right there. So that is his role. So I mean, the owners right there is, hey, guess what? I'm paying you to do this shit. You do this shit. I mean, it's like you don't see an owner of like, and you gotta figure what FSG owns. Red Sox, the racing network, the PGA, all these things that they have investments in, stuff like that. They're not micromanaging this shit. They basically go and say, hey, guess what? I'm getting competent people to go in here to go and handle this stuff like that. I want this competent people to do their job. They don't do their job right, I'm getting rid of them.
I think listen, FSG were saviors of Liverpool were minutes away from going out of business. We need to all remember that, right? And I will always respect what they did, whether I like them or not in various points in the last 10, 15 years, whatever, but I respect them. But I know what you're saying in terms of like the project. I think they've looked this summer and went, Pep's going to go, City aren't the same. We can throw all our eggs in this basket and dominate for 5 years. Exactly. So I think they're going to be fucking pissed off as well. They don't want to spend 450 million for Liverpool to finish 4th, 5th. That's not the plan. The plan is to win the league. But I think there's also a plan here, though, Mark, where you go, you've got to trust the people around you. It's like that famous thing that's going on in baseball in the last 2 years, where I don't know about any about baseball, so someone can kind of fill me in, Brian, maybe you can help me, where the Red Sox had a player it was Otani or someone, but he traded him to someone else because he said he was finished, and then he's went on and won loads of major world. They're going to be sitting down with the GM going, "What the fuck happened there? You said he was finished, now he's not." That's what their conversation is. I just think with John Henry, mate, and I've just checked, and he's 76 years of age. He's an old man. Do you know what I mean? And he's probably sitting there going, he's just probably sitting there, sign the check. And by the way, that's all I want at my fucking owners. Sign the check. It's the famous Bill Shankly thing, isn't it? When about owners, what do you need them for? To sign the checks. That's it. I don't need to talk to them about football. Sign a check, and I'll deal with the football. And that's why he's trusted Michael Edwards and Richard Hughes. Correct. He sit down at the end of the season and go, Liverpool finished 4th, being bounced in the Champions League by Real Madrid. The turnover's down. You spent 450 million, and we're fucking down by 300 million.
Where's my value?
Care to explain yourselves, lads? Because that's what happens. You have a yearly review, don't you? You review the season. By the way, in 6 months, I might sit there and go, "You won the Champions League." He's right, fella. Shake his hand and we all go from there. So who knows?
But also, I think this past summer was a perfect time because it hit the PSR numbers. So I think that you had to go and do this at that moment right there because you had this amount of money that came in and how the money trickles out and stuff like that. So you had to do these things right then and there. And it's a ultimate investment. But like Kazi said right there, end of the season right there, you're going to get graded by your results. And that's going to go from Edwards to Hughes on down to Slot. They're going to get graded and say, hey, guess what? These were our goals right there that we had set right there. Then this didn't get done or this got done. Like you said, it's either going to be, hey, guess what? You're on the last line or congratulations. I mean, that's kind of how this goes. And I really don't want the owners big involved because I see too many problems with owners involved with shit. I mean, you just sign the check. That's it.
Now let's take a slight detour. The news today: Johnny Hittinga going to Spurs. Now there are two guys. Look, you stand them beside each other. You say either this is a new management team, or these are the lads you go to for a good time on a Friday night at the nightclub.
They look like Thomas Franks' stepdad at like a wedding or something. Like, looks like my child's that's what it looks like.
That's the stepson he has problems with, but they're working through them.
They're working through it, on the wedding.
Now
here's those emotional Instagram videos where he grabs his hand and walk down the aisle together.
Now we've talked about we hear that's a Z. That was the worst muting ever.
I clicked the wrong thing.
I'll mute myself by making sure nobody can see me. The Helen Keller of podcasts. So, I mean, we've talked before about, Giovanni Van Bronckhorst and his role in the earlier season was, how much impact Johnny Hittinga had. We're seeing the work that Pep Linders is doing at Manchester City. Pep is a great coach, but he also knows when coaches can do things a little bit better than him, much like Klopp was. Klopp was not the guy that threw out the cones and said, here's the coaching points today. He was the guy who oversaw everything, which is basically what the best managers do. But is this a good move for Spurs? Because Frank's been having a little bit of trouble rather at Spurs, although I think every manager does since Pochettino. And is Johnny Hittinga going to show us what we may be missing out on for the rest of the season?
I could be bothered.
Neither one. No idea. I've got no idea, Mark. Who cares? He's a fucking assistant manager. I love how this, like, by the way, the conspiracy theory around Liverpool of like Van Bronckhorst is doing this on purpose because he played with Arsenal. Oh yeah, he's the one who's telling Van der Ven to break. He's actually he's all in. It's gonna be like at the end of the season where he pulls off his mask or something like the Mystery Machine with Scooby Doo. He's an assistant manager. Who's asked? Like,
well, here's the thing though, because we say that, but they take the sessions. They're the ones that do the actual training.
Okay,
so that's what I'm saying. Like in terms of impact, how important is that to get the right man in there?
I agree. I couldn't agree more in that argument. Who hired him, and whose title is head coach? That man. So he's the problem, not that man. Because you hired him, and you're the one who's overseeing the session and going, "Yeah, I think that's a good session." Because you're the one in charge. So we all have managers, we all have bosses in our jobs, gents. If you've got people under you, you hire someone, it's on you.
Yeah.
On Arne Slot. It's not on Giovanni Van Bronckhorst. And by the way, I'm sure Giovanni Van Bronckhorst wants to get back into work, proper work, as we call it now. Johnny, I think can sit there for 2 years at Spurs. Spurs could go and finish 10th and 7th, then probably get the Everton job. Because he's an Everton He's an Everton player. Not played for Everton for quite a long time actually. I don't see that much in assistant managers. Maybe I'm incorrect. I have no idea right now who City's is. I don't know. But I don't care. I know Gabriel hates he's on Arsenal because I see him all the time on the sideline. But yeah, I don't care. If Heitinga wants to go, by the way, I think it's great for Heitinga. Spurs are a great club.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good move for him. But let me ask you this: he's one of those assistant coaches who went to management and failed and came back to assistant coaching.
Failed to the biggest
which the Indus did as well. I mean, there's a
did as well. It's some people just built to be number 2.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Is it the case that some coaches should just stop trying to be managers and just keep it? Basically, should Brendan Rodgers just be an assistant?
And listen, we don't know, do we? We don't know. All I'm saying is, well, Heitinga, at least, because my jury's out on him. He fails at the biggest club in Holland. It's the equivalent to Man United. So it's not like the end of the world to fail at that level of club. If he drops down to like a FC Utrecht or someone like that and fails, you'll be like, the stands are Ajax are slightly different than like a middle of the road Dutch side. Do you know what I mean? So I've got my jury's out. I just don't care enough about assistant managers. I really don't care.
Is this a good move for Thomas Frank though? Does he need this, or is this one of those like Rodgers with Sean McPartland? Was it Sean McPartland?
Colin Pascoe.
No, Colin Pascoe was the one that left with Mike Marsh that time. You remember? And he brought in.
And he brought Gary Mack in, didn't he, as well?
Gary Mack and Sean. I think it was Sean McPartland. I think was the other guy's name. And then they all got sacked.
And they all got sacked. I don't know, mate.
You know what I mean? Is it because Frank has been under an enormous amount of pressure at Spurs? Is this a case of kind of giving the fans something to cling on to for a little bit before the inevitable happens? Maybe.
I'm not sure. I don't know. Frank deserves time. I always think that. I think a manager deserves time. Spurs aren't going down. I know it's a tough one against Villa there at home. Any home time in the FA Cup getting knocked out is always brutal, you know. I always think that even if it's anyone at home, it doesn't really matter if it's City, but if you're at home, it's just like in front of the crowd and you know it's your last chance. They're playing okay in the Champions League. They might get in the top 8. Do you know what I mean? And also I think he's bang unlucky. I think he's been bang unlucky with some injuries. In terms of Madison, in terms of Solanke, he's just got Solanke back, hasn't he, this weekend? So
he's been out for a while, hasn't he?
Solanke's been out for a while, and, you know.
There's a deal we could have done.
Yeah, I mean, but if you look at like the players he's got, yes, they should be performing, but the league's so tight, gents. 2 or 3 wins, the 6th or 7th. That's how tight the league is. Yeah. It's not like back in the day where he says, "Oh, we're 14 from 18 points off 4th." No, it's like fucking 8-9 points. Like it's all very congested and tight. You know what I mean? I just think, by the way, it could be top 5 for Champions League this season as well. I just think there's loads of time still left in the season, but it is disappointing to lose to Villa at home. I know Villa are a good side, and I get it. Spurs play well second half. They really threw the kitchen sink on and play really well, but it's still a big one to lose at home under the lights. First round of the FA Cup for them, at least. Not good.
Spurs are leaderless. There's no leader there. There's no identity. There's no anything. That's their problem right there. The biggest thing. I mean, for years you had Harry Kane there, who has an identity right there. There's no identity in that club. I mean, or
Modric or somebody like that.
Yeah, I mean,
it's hard that because of the Pochettino, felt like they had something, didn't it, with like Dele Alli getting a tune out of him and players like that.
Yeah.
They had what was his name? Midfielder Christian Eriksen. Good players. And he built like this like kind of team that, but I also think the Leicester winning the league that season when Spurs should have won the league really that season. Spurs kind of bottled it mid-March. I know Leicester were really good. I think Leicester only lost 3 all season, but still Spurs are right in it. I just think sometimes, gents, when you have that amount of talented players, you could really do without Sergio Romero playing centre half. And by the way, I like Sergio Romero as a defender. He can't be your main man. He can't be your skipper.
Nope.
Because they set the example of that's your skipper. And other teams look at him and go, Sergio Romero's your skipper. And we all know we can get at him. We all know he's got to send it off at him. He's hot-headed and all this. He's rash. He can make mistakes. It's a bit like the Canate argument.
Yeah.
Canate was our skipper. You'd all sit there and go, he can't be skipper. No matter what, he can't be skipper. Don't care who it is. I just think sometimes that sets a precedent as well. Do you know what I mean? Maybe I'm looking into it a bit philosophically, maybe. But I just think sometimes you want to look and go, who's the captain of that club? Man, like, fucking leader. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
He's the captain, Romero. And you're like, yeah, great defender, but get all over him. And then when he loses his head, the other players the other players have excuses because the skipper's lost his head. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe I'm looking into it a bit too deep.
No, I think you're spot on. I think that you look for had this that gives you an identity. I mean, look at Manchester United with Bruno Fernandes as another example right there. You have a guy right there that is a hothead and does the same kind of type of antics, stuff like that. Yeah. It creates your identity. Your identity is not positive then.
Yeah, it's like if I don't know. I think it's Saliba who's the captain of Arsenal, but if he leaves tomorrow, I think everyone knows it would be Declan Rice. I think everyone would. This is Declan Rice because that's what would happen. I just think there's not that type of player. And I thought Basuma was going to be that type of player, but I know he's had his issues off the field and he's been injured as well. And he was really good last season, Basuma, for like 5 months. But they haven't got that type of player, have they? Where they can kind of like, where you look and go, fucking hell, he's a really leader, strong.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But yeah, I don't know.
Let me ask you a broader question, Susie and the lads. What is the story with Spurs? They seem like at times in their history they have everything right to move on and become an elite club, but they just can't. Like since Pochettino, they've had some fantastic like coaches away from Spurs. That as soon as they come to Spurs, there's just problems all over the place. Conte, Mourinho, all have something to say about the culture. But what is the culture at Spurs? Like, are they really like the? Do you remember like Man United in the late 70s until Ferguson started having any success? They were like the champagne club.
That's exactly what Spurs are. Even growing up in London, then that's all it was. You know, you had Glenn Hoddle, Chris Waddle, and Adidas, and they're great players. They're just a glamour club. They were just like a TV club, just to I don't know.
Go look the season highlights.
Advertise the Premier League, but nothing substantial. I mean, I think I'm in the minority here. I really think Pochettino's overrated, and I'm probably in the minority.
He did a good job at Spurs.
He came third in a 2-horse race.
We got to the Champions League final with Spurs. It's impressive. Come on, Sergi.
Champions League final, yeah, but
it's not like the League Cup final. It's a fucking.
But you know,
final. We know this.
Liverpool,
no one's
that Champions League final was guaranteed for Liverpool to win that.
No one's arguing that. No one's arguing that. But Liverpool, by the way, you're talking about one of the best ever Premier League sides. Liverpool get 97 points. It's not like you're playing. You know, I just think sometimes. And by the way, everyone was saying that last year with United. I think Spurs get a bad rap. I think it's harsh. I just think, for me, if I was Spurs and what you're saying with the problem with Spurs, I don't think the standards are high enough. And I think players can go there and coast. They want to live in London. Oh, it's all right, lads. We can just win 16 games a season and everything to be sound, or 14 games a season, and we'll all be good, all comps. I don't think that's the standard setter. But I also think that comes from the top below with Daniel Levy. Now he's left. Yeah. Levy's gone now. Where Levy was there. Levy was known as a tough negotiator, really hard and all this kind of stuff. Well, that's great. But sometimes then when you get these players in, you won't fucking sell any. So they know the money's safe. You're not going to sell me. So like, look at Harry Kane for 10 years. Do you know what I mean? I just think Spurs get a really, really bad rap.
But things with Spurs, even outside, you look at the football world, no one takes them seriously. Like players that Liverpool have courted, you know, even before we bought Van Dijk, he took us seriously, despite us not winning anything. Like, you know, he saw the club, the magnitude of the manager, and we still had that respect. You know, even though we went for that low period, we had that. But there's no players that ever think, oh yeah, I want to play for Spurs. I dream of playing for Spurs. You don't hear players saying that, and those are the type of players that they buy. They just buy players that Spurs will always be that stepping stone club.
And I'll ask you, no one's arguing that. If out the top six, the sixth, and they're comfortably six at the top six, I'm arguing that. You take loads of their players, though, wouldn't you? So they have good players. So clearly,
that's what I'm saying. They're a stepping stone club.
But it's not that it's a stepping stone. It's a mentality issue of why they can't win. So they win last year, by the way, in the worst fucking final ever. But they do what they do, and they finish 17th in the league, but they win a trophy, and that's all that matters. It's a mentality issue to kick on again. So where's that? Do you get what I mean? Susie? Like, it's not like it can't be just because we all know the good players. Kudus is a good player. Xavi Simons, everyone wanted him. Van der Ven, we want Van der Ven right now. So,
absolutely,
but that's what I'm saying. That when these players play for a club where they're putting themselves in the shop window, and they don't take they don't take their clubs. They don't care if they win for that club or not. They know that there's another club watching them, and they're going to be taken out of it. Doesn't matter. But you look at Liverpool, we don't have them players anymore. We don't have them players that play for us, knowing that they're going to go to on the shop window.
Sorry, mate, but 10 years ago when we were signing footy players, that was our selling point. We'll get it to Arsenal.
Yeah,
that has to stop eventually. You have to become the destination. And I know what you're saying right now, Spurs is never the destination. And that's a completely fair argument, and I will agree with you. I just think that there's loads of talented players there. It's a mentality issue. To sack Mourinho on the fucking eve of a League Cup final is bizarre. That's just like a bizarre thing that Spurs have done. Like, you could have got that monkey off your back 10 years ago when you let him win the League Cup. You could have just got it off your back. When they look so close, they just self-implode. But that's a mentality issue because the players are quality. You know what I mean? I don't know, man.
The question for me is where that would come from, because it's not the managers, obviously, if they have the likes of Mourinho and Conte, who are winners everywhere else to go. And it's not, maybe it was Levy before, but there must be something else up there, right?
Is it a thing? And this is just me kind of thinking about this. I just think there could be a thing with some of their players that they're loads of damaged toys. Like, they've all got quality, but there's always something about them. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, James Maddison's quality, but I don't see him playing for a top 2-3 in the league. But we all agree he's unreal. We all agree he's unbelievable. Like, Solanke's a great example. Solanke's a top striker. He probably, if he's fit and goes and gets 6-8 goals for Spurs, he goes to the World Cup. Would you want him back? No. Do you know what I mean? So maybe there's like a little. They've got like Javi Siemens is a great example. I was getting told Javi Siemens is the next Johan Cruyff. No one signed him. So why? I say this all the time about Jordan Pickford, because I have this with the Everton fans, for example. About Jordan Pickford, they always go, he's unbelievable, keep, top 3-4 in the league, and you go, okay. So why is no one signed him for 10 years?
Exactly.
Why is no one signed him? Man United are signing Onana, Banyinda, this Clem. Why haven't they just signed him? Because you're telling me he's quality. Why haven't they just signed him for 50-60 million? They signed Onana instead. He literally couldn't catch a cold. So so I'm looking at that with Spurs sometimes. Maybe it's a lot of those damaged type of players that kind of all just kind of glue together. But Mark, I do think it is a mentality issue. You get so close. Pochettino gets the third in the league, gets to the Champions League final, and then he goes to Daniel Levy and goes, I need 2 or 3 more. And he don't give it to him. He's gone within 6 months. So every time I feel like they're close, they just press the self-destruct button somehow. With Mourinho, we're going to win a trophy. Self-destruct on the 4 days before the final. And again, vice versa. So I don't know, man. I do think there's a lot of that. There's also a lot of players, Jensen. That's why Romero is important for them. I know he's the skipper, and I just can't slate him. He's important because he feels like a winner. I've won the World Cup. I've won the World Cup. Do you know what I mean? When Lloris was there, he won the World Cup. Do you know what I mean? Like, as much as whether we make them or not, it's fucking to win the World Cup's a serious football and achievement. We all agree. So I don't know, man. Tough one.
It's a puzzle that I'm sure we'll all puzzle about from decades from now when we still haven't won anything else.
Every played in next, you'll have another chat about them, I suppose. Yeah.
So let's move on to
general football chat. By the way, that was quite nice, lads.
So
just thought Liverpool being shite.
Yeah, sometimes we like to put some parsnips, honeyed parsnips among the mushy peas. Now let's talk about this. We're back to the real football. Liverpool against Burnley. Scotty Parker's brave Scotty Parker's brave Burnley from England. We're on a good bad momentum stopping run right now, but we need to step up from that, don't we? We need to start dominating the games on the scoreboard. The 2-0 slot special is worn thin, I think, at this point. I think, it's Cosy, you said it last week, you have to put your stamp on a game at some point. You have to say, this is what we're about, and tough luck, lads, but take your 5-goal deficit now and go home and think about what you've done. Burnley not having a fantastic time of it at all, but neither were Wolves when we played them. So is this a potential banana skin, or is this a game where we should be looking to make that step up?
Go on, Sergio.
I have a good feeling about this game. I think this is one game where actually we're going to flatter to deceive. I think the scoreline's going to flatter to deceive, and I think we'll win this comfortably, like 3-4-0. I think Ekitike being back is obviously definitely helpful. Despite the performance against Barnsley the other day.
It's pronounced Barnsley.
Barnsley.
Get it right.
Despite the
performance. Get our mushy peas from Barnsley.
I think the score was good. It's at home. It's I think like I say, I think we'll win this comfortably just before Salah gets back, and then hopefully it'll stop the rot and we can start winning games now.
Brian, what do you think of the game? Is it a chance for a step up, or are we looking at another Szoboszlai backheel disaster into a conceded goal? Which I didn't find that disrespectful per se. I just thought they're professional footballers, think they'll live, but it was a bloody stupid thing to do in there, and I don't know why he thought he was going to do a takeover with Alisson Becker of all players. That was just ridiculous. But nevertheless, he'll never do that again, I don't think, or he'll be doing it in a charity game of some description. But maybe that was like a clock cleaner of a moment, where we say, well, come on, lads, like step up to this. We're in a bad enough position as it is. Let's stop with the nonsense. What do you think, Brian?
I mean, this should be a comfortable match. This should be a comfortable. I mean, Burnley's a championship side. I mean, they're a championship side. You have to go there. It's like Kazi started the program saying, if you have problems with Burnley, we've got more problems in this club than we actually can think about. I mean, honestly, I think that Wolves have had more problems with injuries and different things. I think Burnley's worse than Wolves. I honestly do. I think that they're a worse squad than Wolves are, in my opinion. I think they were able to go through and get across a couple of draws and a couple of wins, but I think that Wolves have just had a bad run, a bad luck with a lot of things with them and all that. Honestly, this should be like a 3-0, 4-0 win. I mean, in my opinion, the only concern I have is what every lower part of this league does is go with the low block, and then we have to try to figure out how to break the low block. It's my only concern. But I think once we are able to come through to do that, you put one goal back on them, it's done. And then I think they're just going to fold like a house of cards.
Let me ask you this though, Wirtz with Howitzer from outside the box finally, there the other day. Do you think that maybe, if his confidence is now up from that, because that's one way to beat the low block, is to start like getting accurate shots on target from outside the box. If he has his confidence up, that's a nice weapon to have then in that scenario, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that Wirtz right there has grown leaps and bounds in this league right there. I think he's starting to figure things out. And I mean, I think that you can look over the last couple of matches of what he did. And I think McAllister right there. I think the Barnsley match was a good thing for McAllister. I think
Barnsley.
Yeah, but I think that was a good match from McAllister. I think that was a confidence booster with those 2 assists, and I thought he had a very well-rounded match. So those are things right there to build off right there. And I want to see the McAllister I saw last year, not the one I saw the beginning part of this year, where he was very loss of confidence, loss of fitness, and different things there. So I really think the players are going to kick off on this right there, and I really think this is either a 3-0, 4-0 type of match.
Kazi, bring us back down to earth.
No, I know. I agree with you. To be honest, I agree with the boys. I think, listen, Burnley are a bag of rags. Just checked, and they conceded 41 goals in 21 games.
Yep.
And as much as they might be playing against the low block, listen, if I get that fucking ball fraud after the game, going, we weren't anticipating their style of play, I am going to literally lose my head.
I didn't say it. I was waiting for you to say it.
We know what they're going to come and what they're going to say, what they're going to do.
What you should probably do if he does that is go out on the golf course and hit your longest drives ever in sheer anger.
I'm literally going to get a dart ball with his face on. Listen, Burnley are a bag of rags. Liverpool are at home to Burnley. Liverpool should be putting into the sword. But football sometimes doesn't work like that. And when I say put into the sword, sometimes since Liverpool can win 2-0, but I want you to have 30 shots. I want their keeper to be man of the match. That's why I'm putting the team to the sword, because sometimes that can happen. We've seen it for fucking 15, 20 years. Keepers come to Anfield and have the greatest ever game. And that's, by the way, completely fine. They're allowed to do that. But I still want Liverpool to give them those chances and create chances at will. I don't care how low the block is. I don't care if Burnley's back 8 is sitting on the first front row of the Kop. I'm not interested. Beat Burnley. I don't want it to be. But by the way, gents, what I would love more than anything is a fucking dead and beady game on the 60th minute. My God, can we just please have that? And that's why, again, going back to the support, I think I haven't been as angry with the footy player playing for Liverpool for a long time. Honestly, because it's such a ridiculous thing to do. First of all, it's the wrong decision, even if he gets it right. It's still the wrong decision to do.
Mm-hmm.
And he still doesn't get it right. So 2 wrongs definitely didn't make the right. And because Liverpool were on the verge of that, Liverpool were on the verge of just being dead and literally dead and buried in a game for the 60th minute for the first time this season. Liverpool have battered someone. And that's what it would have been. Liverpool would have scored the third on the 52nd minute. Calvin Ramsey gets half an hour, and we all utilise over him and go, what can he's a player? Because that's what would have happened. But no, we didn't get that. Liverpool are in the death, and then you have to bring on Ekatike and Wirtz to come and definitely secure your place against Barnsley in the 3rd round of the FA Cup. It shouldn't be right. It's not right. And that's what Shabazz like. By the way, and again, I feel sorry for the manager again. I do feel sorry for the manager. He's unlucky there. Because he'll sit there and go, we haven't played well, but perfect half, 2-0 up, great. And then he's got to come in and change everything up again in his team talk and things. So, but I digress. Burnley, listen again, bag of rags. Liverpool should win comfortably, and I expect them to win comfortably.
Calm down,
honestly, honestly, Macka, I like that Sabot came out and apologised on the pitch.
Yeah, that was a good thing. Yeah,
I like that Arne Slot said, I've got my thoughts and feelings on it, and I'm going to tell him and not you, which means, my God, as you said, Matt,
he got what I was saying on the Discord. He got it from everybody, probably from the players.
By the way, I felt sorry for Taylor Ione.
Yeah,
you would have gone on because whether we like this or not, lads, whether we consider these lads options, which I don't. Do you know where they get to be options is by playing fucking footy?
Yeah.
We're on the line, we got to kick a footy to be an option. Calvin Ramsey has to go out and play 30 minutes to be an option and go, oh my God, he's unbelievable. Well, maybe I can trust him for the last 10. Maybe I can. Now he doesn't get to have a look at him, and that's what Sabozlai took away from the manager, and that's why again the anger is still palpable, and it's bang. Look, no, because the other thing, Mac, I know you can, you're smirking. He's probably one of the only players this season, Sabozlai, he has a little bit of credit in the bank this season, based on his performances. But Canate did that. My God. Think about it though, Jensen, because it's Sabozlai, he's got credit, and you're all laughing about it, Mac, and go, I wouldn't have hooked him at all. If Canate didn't, you would have lost your mind. You would have lost your mind. So.
Well, last be in mind that the other one, regardless, I just don't think he should be missing games for it, which is what some suggestions were.
I would have hooked him as soon as he done it. I would have hooked him. I know.
I wouldn't. But if I did, I certainly wouldn't keep him out of the next game.
No,
because that's a bit too much.
No, but I think sometimes
being a moron.
I like a manager. Sometimes he sets a stall out.
Yeah.
Exactly. With this fucking manager in the first game of last season with Kwanzaa, he set a stall out at our time. I didn't think he would. By the way, Kwanzaa wasn't really that bad, but I didn't think he was good enough. Hooked him. Where's that man gone?
Yeah.
Where's that manager gone? Because I feel like he's.
They tried to do with Salah. I think it backfired on him.
Mate, literally, but that goes back to your thing about egos. This is your first big ego that you've had to manage.
Yeah.
Does Jurgen Klopp do that? By the way, Jurgen Klopp had Salah, and Salah's had married with him on the sideline at West Ham and things like that. But Jurgen Klopp can sit there and go, I'm going to have had you for 8-9 years. Do you know what I mean? We can have a chat and we'll figure this out. He doesn't just go, we're going to leave him out. He wouldn't do that. Jurgen Klopp's not going to do that. He's not going to go, no, Mo Salah's not going to play for me. He's going to go, no, he's going to win me loads of games, score loads of goals, he can play next week.
And I was like, Klopp knew. I mean, he knew he could drop Mane and get away with it. He just didn't want to rattle around that boat with Salah.
Managing the player, though, Sergi, when that kicked off on West Ham, it was all sorted. It was done.
Yeah,
no, it's done. Not Liverpool. No, he has to apologise and all this, and I get all that, and I understand, but you're being too honest. You can just say it, we're dealing with it internally, and that's it. No more. You sit next to, by the way, for people who don't know, for the fans, when he does his press conference, he's sitting next to a press officer that you guys can't see. We know this.
Yeah.
His name's Tony Barrett. Tony Barrett used to write for the Echo. He's
for the Echo,
He gets told they're going to ask you these questions. So, look, it's an idea of what they're going to ask. You can tailor-make your response how you like. And when you get the manager go sitting there going, for 25 games this season, mate, I've had to rip out my team talk. I've like 22 of them because I had no idea what they were going to do because they changed it up for Liverpool. What? Huh? He literally said that. I can't believe that. Is it just me who thinks that's bizarre? For the manager to sit there and go, we pre-match team talks mean nothing because the team, they came and did something else, which I wasn't expecting. You managed
That's what I was trying to say in Discord. I was like, oh, you're just picking it. No, we're not. It's just the most like freaking Asperger's like autism thing to do. Like, how would you say that in public?
I don't know if he thinks like something like Burnley are going to show up like 1970s Brazil this weekend. No, how much of the no? So I just don't know why. I don't know, mate. He just says some bizarre things, and I think sometimes things are best you don't hear your dirty laundry out, do you?
I think what we need is Tony Barrett to go up to him and say, just assume everybody's playing a low block. It'd be easier for the press conference afterwards.
Yeah, exactly. He just played Arsenal last week, so he should be playing Burnley. That's up for it.
So, Cosy, give us a score line because you haven't given us one.
Yeah, 3-0. Yeah, I think it'll be nice. I think it'll be a nice game for us.
I mean, I got the day off. It's going to snow apparently up here, so we'll have to do some snow shoveling before or after the game. I may leave it till after, just in case. I can do it angrily.
Yeah, just angrily drive your car off anyway, just into a wall. When you see Scott Parker running down the touchline after those nothing equaliser.
England's brave Scotty Parker. Let's get it right.
This is the Scotty Parker who showed up with Bournemouth and we beat them 9-0 once, so that was quite nice.
That's true. Yeah. So with that said, thank you lads for the conversation as always. It was a good time had by all and a great time had by anybody who's watching who likes bald morons on you know, they're out there. So if you want more of this nonsense, do this. Follow us on YouTube, follow us on Facebook and Instagram, like and subscribe, hit that bell, get the notifications, know when we are going to be on air. And I think some people are behind on where we're discussing things, but Jimbo says, cheers, Baldies. I think it's morning time for Jimbo, so have a fantastic day wherever you are. I mean, it's probably, 3 a.m. Fair play to you. You must be getting those loaves of bread delivered quite early today.
Him and Tony, yeah.
But for the rest of us, I think morning coffee tomorrow. Look out for stuff for the games on Saturday, but either way, let's just hope for a nice, easy, comfortable win for a change. And then maybe Wirtz gets another long distance one, and maybe Darwin Núñez will eventually get a hat-trick. I mean, who knows? Anything can happen. It's 2026. Let's go as we mean to go with miracles all over the place. So peace out, everybody. Here's some funky music. Have a good one. It's pronounced Barnsley.